Dearest, most beloved, divine friends, family, brothers, sisters, welcome to In the Raw. RK's Guyana Free Media, and I'm your host, your brother, Haji Dr. Roshan. With me is the Tuesday 7th newspaper of the Kaichor News, and a question that's constantly been asked, and rightfully so, and I wrote lots of articles about it in letters in the media. And I also wrote in Facebook my viewpoint, and I also did some in the raw on this. Harman must come clean. And who instructed Trotman to sign the 2% contract? Dr. Jailal. And who's Dr. Jailal? Canada-based Guyanese. There's a blocked part here. It's blocked. So I'll read that. Harman and the PNCR's going support for negotiation can put the PPPC in a pickle and change the tide for renegotiation. Will the PNCR step up? What is there to lose? Asks Guyanese-based Dr. Jerry Jailal. And this is happening. Harman must come clean. Who instructed Trotman to sign the 2% contract? Dr. Jailal is asking. As PNCR leadership candidates are called on to publicly pronounce on renegotiation. Who are there to ask for renegotiation? I believe in renegotiation. I believe 50% is too much. I saying about 35% follow the format of Suriname. Little Suriname, weaker than us economically, smaller than us, made us in Guyana look fools or foolish. Not their fault of Suriname. I gotta salute them. Not the PPPC government, which is in power and which is known to be strong, but they set the standard which is hard to change immediately in a future negotiation when they accepted 2%. We have to remember, Trotman, when they went there with a team, they were wined and dined, ladies and gentlemen. This is a typical technique of the Americans. They did that with American Indians. They drunk them. They gave them food. Food can make you drunk, and this team was given food and drink and luxury hotel and joys and cocktail upon cocktail. So they couldn't read the contract, ladies and gentlemen. This man who was a lawyer was sent by the APNU government, AFC, Ramjatan, and Mr. Granger, and Harman, who was the minister of the presidency. Yeah, minister of the ministry of the presidency. Harman. And when he eventually was questioned, that is Trotman, he made it quite clear that he had instructions. You need, ladies and gentlemen, a commission of inquiry into this matter, where they all, and we had to do something with the law or appeal to President Granger, former president, that he will have to face the tribunal in the trial or the inquiry before charges can be laid as to what really happened. Because Mr. Trotman is saying he was instructed, but we know at that time Mr. Mr. Trotman was walking on air. His tone, his behavior, his attitude. Oh, and then not too long after he got married. God bless him. But in one of the Caribbean countries, I can't recall the names, he got married there. Oh my God! I heard what happened at that wedding. But people like us can't be invited and far away from Guyana. Why? And so on. But eventually, the president of Guyana at that time, think, ladies and gentlemen, took away the portfolio of Mr. Trotman for oil and gas, even though he was the oil resource minister and the president himself was now watching over it. We had already sold our birthright out by agreeing to 2%, and he, Trotman, just signed without reading the contract. He admitted he never read the contract. This man needs to repay everything. He has a way, he got to be fined, he got to be jailed for not reading, for being a lawyer, for betraying the legal concept of studying your case before you sign. But there were too much of cocktails, and that's a part of the conspiracy of these companies that operates usually big and want to dominate third world countries, same thing they do in Africa. And the Europeans are known to do the same thing. I don't blame them really. I don't blame the American companies and the Europeans. I blame the third world countries. And a team of specialists should have gone. And that contract should have come to Guyana. And it should have been studied by a team of lawyers. Former President Granger. You know, you're a man I actually respected. But the more I know, the more I see, I'm starting to lose a lot of respect for you. It's good you're keeping out of politics. And just try to enjoy your grandchildren and whatever you have acquired in life, Mr. Granger. You have not done well. Now to the article. With government coming out with a definitive pronunciation that it will not be renegotiating its contract with ESSO Exploration and Production, Guyana Limited, ExxonMobil, Guyana, it is now time for each of the contenders vying for the People's National Congress reform as leader to make public pronouncement of their positions on the matter of this. Coming clean on the 2% contract by Jailal. This more so, with opposition leader contender of the leadership position in the PNCR leadership, Joseph Harmon, who in a recent Sunday Kite News publication was pictured wearing a t-shirt saying, "Demand 50% royalty." Man, I was this man, I would be so ashamed. I would have pushed my head in sand, filled maybe even with dog and human stale feces, and don't take the head out. For him, who was in government and also obviously knew about the 2%, he was top government, man. He's the opposition leader. To now call for 50%, it makes him look so bad. It makes the People's National Congress, of which I still have some respect, especially when these faces get out of there. These things. He should have been ashamed of himself. What an evil, degenerate methodology some people have in their minds. To go and wear that thing in public? Come on. It is painful. I don't know what, I'm not saying Mr. Harmon is personally evil or degenerate, but generally I wonder about human nature. Some people in human nature, they do some ludicrous things. Coming back to the article. Additionally, Harmon must also now come clean with that Mr. Jailal is saying with the motion and divulge who instructed the Minister of Natural Resources, Trotman, to sign the contract with ExxonMobil Guyana. The sentiments were recently expressed by Guyana-based Guyanese Dr. Jerry Jailal, who suggested that the position postulated by Harmon seems to be clear support for the renegotiation of oil and gas contract, as any increase in the 2% paltry royalty which we get now would require negotiation. According to Jailal, Harmon's call for a 50% royalty now sets an interesting stage. According to Mr. Jailal, Harmon's call for a 50% is interesting. This since the Exxon chief had said both the People's Progressive Party and the PNCR promised during the election that the contracts will not be renegotiated. Oh, so they will make hay while the sun shines, so they can suck the juice of our nation, our future prospects for our future youths and our generation and generations to come. They'll suck it and fatten themselves and their owners and their shareholders. No, Guyana needs something that has to be renegotiated. I know you all got a fat, sweet, juicy contract, and that is your good luck And it's our sad selves that we had people like Trotman and that group who are now in the opposition that allowed the trash, the nonsense to happen, to sign for a 2%. You guys must have celebrated so much. And I really am not blaming you. I'm blaming the leaders of the government at that time. Back to the article. As such, Dr. Jailal was adamant Harman must now explain clearly if he and his PNC are now supporters of a better and a fair deal for Guyana. That would put that party in such shame, but they need to come out clean and admit and even go down and beg the apology of the nation of Guyana and ask the government of Guyana for all the nastiness that they did and brought this country down for 5 months and destroyed our country and our economy for 5 months trying to steal an election. Beg the apology of the people and beg the PPPC to bring them as a kind of a low-level partner in the governance of this nation. To this end, he also quipped, we also need to hear from Mr. Harman challenges where they stand in renegotiation and whether they also would wear the t-shirt. It seems to me he's actually mocking them. Dr. Jailal, it seems to me, I'm only speculating here. According to Dr. Jailal, if Harman's stance is solid, this changes the political dynamics in Guyana and spells trouble for the PPPC engine room. The PNC are sold out the country, that we stand to lose US $55 billion and the PPPC will renegotiate the contract if they win. And I think a time will come, ladies and gentlemen. Exxon doesn't want to. If I was Exxon, I wouldn't want to. I don't really blame Exxon. But I think they need to wake up, smell the coffee. This is a country. We need facilities and benefits. We need to live. We need to survive. We need to take care of our future generations. ExxonMobil, put on your human hat. Put on your hard hat. 55 billion, the APNU, US dollars, the APNU, with Harman and Granger, former President Granger, Trotman, and the entire team caused the loss to this country, ladies and gentlemen. How can we ever forgive that outfit? How can you, who support the PNC, for whether ethnic or political or love reasons, how can you support or vote for them in any coming elections? You need to teach them a lesson and vote for the PPPC as far as I'm concerned. To this end, conversely, he noted that now that the PNCR is in disarray, having failed in its attempt to rig the 2020 election Burnham style, it has no message or platform beyond racial incitement, says Jailal. Gives a tepid support for vaccination that amongst the non-support refuses to recognize a duly elected government, PPPC government, while the PPPC basks in the multitudinous development projects all across the country that is actually dazzling us, dazzling the people. Look at all the signing of the agreements for new airlines to share skies that the PPPC are in, the construction of schools and dams and bridges and roads, the opportunities and the monies being given out as incentives to the people. This government, ladies and gentlemen, has to be a super government, to my opinion. This said Dr. Jailal questioned if Minister Raphael Trotman, then Minister Raphael Trotman, I would say, who, continuing on page 17, ladies and gentlemen, remember, friends and families, this is in the raw. I hope everybody doing well, be COVID-19 safe, protect yourselves and your families. Okay, we're here now. Signed, which the Raphael Trotman minister at that time signed. The bad ExxonMobil deal that sold out to the national patrimony, said he was told to sign. I told you that. He said he was told, ladies and gentlemen. He was instructed to sign. Why? Did somebody in government then get some soursop, some sapodilla, some lollipop, some ice cream, some money in some secret accounts. Something sweet happened somewhere. Did they get money for the party campaign? That they will sell the country out? We need a commission of inquiry, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, a commission of inquiry. Big time. Dr. Jalal noted, the PNC side of the Jalal noted, has not said anything. I beg your pardon, in the raw, ladies and gentlemen, has not said anything, but only two people who were above Mr. Trotman and could have hypothetically told Mr. Trotman to sign, and I know who they are. I know who they are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, would have been the President, David Arthur Granger, and Mr. Harman. Mr. Harman was the number 2 man in the Granger government. So we need Mr. Harman to clear the air on this. I was saying the same thing. But to me, Harman was the number 1 man. Everything was being given to him to do. Like a military leader in the military, they pass orders all the time. So Mr. Granger was passing orders all the time to Harman. And Harman was the grande popa of the PNC and the government and of the nation. And he was destroying people's life as he tried to destroy me and my businesses. According to Dr. Jailal, notwithstanding the credibility of the messenger, Harman's new gamble calling for higher oil royalties might yet prove to be the message and platform the PNCR needs to be relevant once again. So they might do that, thinking as usual they can pull the wool over the eyes of their people because they control them and they can hold them by their nose and pull them to go and vote PNC because they love PNCR, and so they can just go and vote and pull. We want negotiation, and the people in the communities they go should ask them to please leave. You betrayed us, you sold us out, and because of your poor governance, you caused the PNC supporters to lose the governance of the country. You lost the whole nation because of those few guys. The PNCR, he said, is poised to remain in the opposition benches for a long time, Jalal, but can still rescue itself by throwing somebody under the bus. Apologize to the nation for giving away Guyana's oil and gas. Did I say that? Go down on your knees and beg the Guyanese. Apologize and commit to an ongoing fight for negotiation and work with the government. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is in the raw. RK's Guyana Free Media. According to Dr. Jalal, this will force the government to move towards the renegotiation track. And this will be good for all Guyana. They got to put their heads together on this. Dr. Jalal has since posited, if both mass-based parties keeps on holding the same position against renegotiation, it will be a slow build for the national cause seeking better benefits from oil to the Guyanese people with a long list of needs. We have much poverty in this country, and this is why I must applaud former President Dr. Barry Jagdeo when he was being questioned and they were telling us that we should stop drilling and so on. They were telling us that they will pay us, or the rich country will pay us to stop drilling and so on, give us the equal amount that we would lose. He told them we have lots of poor people in this country, and of course supported by the President, His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali. Dr. Jalal has since posited that he was adamant. If the PPPC refuses to the renegotiation, that the PNC have the opposing position, there is a potential of an additional 45% Guyanese supporting renegotiation, and Exxon will not be able to resist such a mighty force. He suggested that Harman should know that the PNCR's silence on renegotiation does not mean Exxon or the USA would support them in future elections, since they have shot themselves in the foot. For the long term, for the long term by their anti-democratic behavior and even in their skulls, I would say. The PNC shot themselves in the skulls, those few leaders. We still got good people in the PNC. Inherently, he said, Harman and the PNC are ongoing support for renegotiation can put the PPP in a pickle and change the tide for renegotiation. Will the PNC step up? What is there to lose? I'm not saying put them in a pickle, man. I'm saying put your heads together now. The PPPC must be prepared to sit with them on this. They will recognize the government, that they won the election, and you put your heads together to bring Guyana prosperity and success, unity and goodwill. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji Dr. Roshan can, in the raw. Say thank you and farewell.